All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into the origins and the core beliefs of Islam.
Okay.
We're looking at excerpts from this document called EQ2 Core Beliefs.pdf.
All right.
And I think it's really interesting how, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are all connected.
Yeah, they're all Abrahamic religions.
Yeah, they're all Abrahamic religions.
They all trace their lineage back to Abraham.
Okay, so how does that work?
Right.
Like, they all trace it back to Abraham, but, where does it split off?
Well, so Abraham had two sons, Isaac and Ishmael.
Right.
And Judaism and Christianity trace their roots back to Isaac.
Okay.
And Islam traces their lineage back to Ishmael.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so before we get into the specifics of Islam, I think it's really interesting this document mentions this other religion called Zoroastrianism
Yeah.
that was present in Persia before Islam came about.
Right. It was a monotheistic religion, and it had a huge influence on the development of Islam in the region.
Yeah, so how did Islam come about then?
Well, in the 7th century, there was this guy named Muhammad.
Okay.
He was a merchant in Mecca.
Okay.
And he started receiving these revelations.
Oh, wow.
And these revelations formed the basis of the Quran, the holy book of Islam.
Okay, so the Quran is like their Bible.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool.
And so Muhammad is considered the final and most important prophet in Islam.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And one of the core beliefs of Islam is the concept of Allah,
Right.
which basically means God.
Exactly. It's the Arabic word for God.
Okay.
And Muslims believe that Allah is one,
Okay.
unique, and all-powerful. And that's really the central tenet of Islam.
So that's basically monotheism.
Exactly. Strict monotheism. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger.
Okay.
And that's kind of the essence of the Islamic faith.
Okay, and that leads us to the 5 pillars of Islam.
Yeah.
Which, from what I understand, is basically a guideline
Right.
for living a good Muslim life.
Exactly. It's a framework for Muslims to practice their faith.
Right, and the first pillar is called the Shahada,
Yeah.
and that's just the declaration of faith.
Exactly. It's that belief in the oneness of God and accepting Muhammad as his prophet.
Okay, and so the second pillar is prayer.
Yes, and Muslims pray 5 times a day facing Mecca.
Wow, 5 times a day.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And the third pillar is zakat, which I believe is charity.
Right. It's giving alms to the poor.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
It is. It's about social responsibility
Okay.
and ensuring the well-being of the community.
Okay, so like a safety net in a way.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, and then the fourth pillar is fasting during Ramadan.
Yes. And Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar.
Okay.
And Muslims abstain from food and drink from dawn until dusk.
Wow, that's got to be tough.
It is. It's a time of spiritual reflection and self-discipline.
Okay, and it's only for a month.
Yes, just for the month of Ramadan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the fifth pillar is Hajj.
Right, which is the pilgrimage to Mecca.
Okay, and this is something that every Muslim is supposed to do.
Every able-bodied Muslim who can afford it is expected to make the pilgrimage at least once in their lifetime.
Okay, so what is it about the Hajj that's so important?
Well, it's a very humbling experience.
Okay.
You shed all markers of social status,
Okay.
and you stand equal before Allah.
Wow, that's really cool.
It is, yeah.
So like you were saying earlier, these 5 pillars aren't just religious things.
Right.
They're like ways of living.
Exactly. They shape a Muslim's entire worldview and their interactions with the world around them.
It's really interesting how a religion can have such a profound impact on someone's
Right.
life.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful tapestry of faith and tradition.
Yeah, and I think this leaves us with a lot to think about, how do these 5 pillars play out in a world that doesn't always share these values?
Right.
And I think that's something that, is worth exploring further.
Definitely.
All right, well, that was a fascinating look into the origins and core beliefs of Islam. And I think we all learned a lot today.
Yeah, me too.
So until next time, stay curious.
Keep exploring.
You keep exploring.
Yeah.
All right, see ya.
Yeah. Bye.